This is William Hageman, also known as Archonstone. Today, this is a homily for people embracing change. The homily is about forgiveness. And I've been on Facebook today and writing about how I'm not a fan of forgiveness. And where people come back, well, forgiving family for being neglectful, or any number of hurts, or for cheating, or for any number of things. The going idea that forgiveness is about freeing yourself from focusing on a hurt that people have done you. In other words, you're letting it go. That's not forgiveness. That is something else. Forgiving someone for betraying your trust, harming you, harming others, there's consequences to be paid. But if it's betrayal or hurt, you need genuine remorse, restitution, fixing the problem, fixing what you did. And it takes more effort than a simple making the hurt. It's easier to destroy than it is to build. Genuine remorse, restitution, and then you can start with reconciliation. It's a process. It's not only for you, but it's also for a community. Because people know that you've been hurt. And people may know that this person has done you wrong. This person may go on to fresh victims. There's no forgiveness yet. You have to stand up to the truth of who and what they are. Now, forgiving yourself is another thing. But if you were originally betrayed, hurt, and what have you, what do you have to forgive yourself about? We've been trained to do that, to think like a victim. Then recognizing that fact, fixing it, you're doing restitution and evolution of yourself. Why? Because you love who you are. Because you love having a healthy relationship with other people. You do not want to pass on cycles of victimology or abuse to your children, families, or neighbors. You can forgive yourself if you're doing the work. It's about fixing things. Why this hat? This is a Marine Corps garrison cover, but it's black with the PEC symbol on it, because I'm very protective of my People Embracing Change family, my partners, and people I care about, and the idea of people embracing change. Forgiveness for yourself is about letting go. Well, don't call it forgiveness. It's called letting it go. It's being aware of the nature of a person, place, or things that hurt you or hurt others. You just don't let it go. You have to prepare yourself to not let that happen to you or others again. You may become counter-dependent, which means instead of being a codependent victim, you learn how to be aggressively vigilant on what those issues are, what the behaviors are, and act accordingly to prevent that from happening to you and others. The problem with countervigilance is people sees that aggressive behavior may compare to primitive abusers. where most of the abusers you have to deal with are pretty skilled at it. But that is what the abusers, narcissists, sociopaths will point to you and say you're the problem, because now they will get their sycophants and followers to attack you. First rule of self-defense is don't be there. As soon as they taint you, even after they've long gone and the victims have forgotten the victimizers, they'll remember the feeling about you, but not the details about how you try to help them. All they know is the feelings that they are left to believe. You forgive them? It's a misunderstanding, but they're going to hurt you. Do you stick around? No. My whole point about not about forgiveness, it's about love. Love in the big sense of the word. Seeing things for exactly what they are, having an honest relationship with what they are and who they are. If they're going to hurt you, get away. Stay away. Keep other people from getting hurt by them. Also tell the truth. They don't have the integrity. They don't have the necessary behaviors to be a working part of society. You're protecting people. That's okay. Forgiving yourself. If you haven't done the protection for others and for yourself, only if you're fooled and you fix it. Don't let it happen again. Love in the big sense is like Fiddler on the Roof. Rabbi, is there a blessing for the czar? There's a blessing for everyone. May God bless the czar and keep him very, 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 very far away from us. It's knowing that they're not healthy for you, not good for you. Stay away. Not engage that. Change your behavior so people like that do not affect you like that ever again. It's about change and evolution. It's about personal work. The thing is, how do you actually forgive someone or some? Well, for example, the concept of cheating. All right, you have given your word that you're not going to cheat on somebody. You cheat on them. You lied. You lied to yourself about your own nature. You lied about your self-control. And you lied to the person that loves and cares about you about expected behavior. Now, human beings have this misunderstanding. They have these romantic ideals about who and what they are. Can you be adults and rearrange your misunderstanding and deal with who you are? Or are you going to actually change your behavior? It doesn't happen overnight. You don't forgive a person overnight. Trust has to be rebuilt. The thing is, most people are poly, they're promiscuous. Are they doing it in good faith? You know, I get permission. You know, the emotional connections with people and relating to people, I can give it sticky, okay? The thing is, being honest, dealing with the reality of who you are in a situation, because situations get sticky and weird with people. It may be a misunderstanding. Be adults, talk about it, fix it. Come to an understanding. If you fucked up, be genuinely remorseful. Make restitution. It may be something very small, but you do what you can to fix it. Now, it's easier to destroy than to fix, to create. And when people look at you and they don't believe you, they don't trust you, you've lost integrity. Truth about who you are, you've lost some integrity with yourself. If you don't care about these things, I'll tell you very quickly. When someone says, wants to get back together, let's do this and that, and says, you haven't said sorry about X or Y. They look at you and say, well, I'm sorry. Is that genuine remorse? A good way to test that is just, well, there's no reconciliation until there's restitution. I accept your apology. It doesn't mean that you forgive them. Forgiveness takes time after restitution, acts of trust and behavior that is consistent with a person who's changed, who's remorseful about past events, that truly works to change who they are and fix the problem. Forgiveness is not an act of one time. It does not heal you. It doesn't heal yourself unless you make the actions to not trust these people anymore and make sure they don't hurt you or anyone else. And forgive yourself about that. It's hard to forgive yourself if you keep letting it happen, because you're not doing your own restitution to fix your behaviors, to keep it from happening to yourself again and again and again. Okay? You have to love yourself. You have to be honest with yourself. You have to exercise and generate integrity. Life, love, and truth and harmony builds integrity. It's about being absolutely honest with yourself, others, and the world. With absolutely everything. Now, that's a tall order. It's a process. Like forgiveness is a process. But people who aren't remorseful about what they do and they're playing you, as soon as you stick them with restitution, fix what you broke. They fail to do that, they've just excised themselves from you and your community. Forgiveness is a process. It not only involves you, but everyone around you. You letting yourself get hurt again when you know that they're dangerous is not being honest with yourself. It's not being able to maintain integrity of yourself, your situation, and what's really happening. People have to prove themselves. Once you lose trust in someone and that you know that they don't have integrity, they're not to be trusted. It's one reason why I had to come to grips with that. I'm polyamorous. I refuse to cheat on somebody. I've had monogamous relationships. I made a promise to be monogamous. And I was. Until they broke their promise. Until they cheated. Until they acted in accordance with not being faithful to our mutual word. First marriage. I know my wife was a woman of the world, and I was going overseas, so I'll be away for a year. I says, I'm going to be honest. I will keep faithful because I know me. But you're a woman of the world, whatever. I'm not going to hold you to some standard that's impossible. Stay healthy. Pay the bills and be here when I get back. She went on drugs. She didn't take care of the bills or the property, and she left with a fellow that I knew was an alcoholic. It was sort of a friend. He did me a favor. Took her away. She came back, and my CO demanded that we attempt a reconciliation. I said, don't lie to me. That was a bar way too tall for her. First opportunity where she thought my senses were dulled, she lied to me, attempted to manipulate me. I was done. I walked out. I kept to my word. So don't lie to me, or I'll be done. Other relationships, yeah, they wanted other relationships. That's fine. And when I had relationships, they get stinky about it. That's manipulation. That's not being honest. There's a point where I let some of that go, but the thing is, they weren't honest about their relationship to who I am. Didn't want to see me for who I am. Love me for who and what I am. Have an honest relationship with me. And have memories of conversations. There's forgiveness. Yeah. But there has to be changes. Put me in constant debt. Said there would be changes. I try to help with the changes. One too many times. You want me home, but if I work around the clock because I got to pay bills, because you're making more bills, I'm not going to be home. This is just simple human decency of working with each other, and it's simple things that can destroy a relationship. Sex with another person isn't really the biggest thing on my list. It's being able to work a relationship and have a working relationship to get along, to support each other, to make things work. Well, if it's just sex and that's what you expected, reconciliation is a matter of change behavior, showing dutiful attention to your partner, and never doing it again. You can rebuild that trust. People have forgiven, but it took restitution. It took work to rebuild that trust, to rebuild that love. Some people have had to learn how to love a person who doesn't have that self-control. But that is a truth of whether a person accepts it and forgives it, because they recognize this is a truth about themselves. They can deal with that because they love that person. Or they can't. They're going to be miserable until it ends. Because you got to be true to yourself. You can't cheat on who you are. And you have to have true remorse about your behaviors that keep putting you in this position, and make restitution to yourself to fix those behaviors and fix your situations so that you can maintain your integrity and trust and love of who you are. How else are you going to love someone else and have an honest relationship with other people? You got to be honest with who you are. For those people say we can forgive those who've neglected and abused us and whatever. No, but we can be civil. We can see them for who they are and know that they will never change. You may have to deal with these people. They could be family. They could be coworkers. They could be your bosses, until you decide you can find another job as quickly and as equitably and financially stably in a stable situation that you can make it for yourself. I've had to do that over and over. I've had a lot more leniency to wives and long-term relationships because that's you committed. When you have a committed relationship, you do the work to try to make these things amenable, working out, having an common understanding, so that you negotiate honesty and honest behavior from each other and have an honest relationship. As soon as that fails, and demonstrably fails over and over again, you have to forgive yourself and cut it loose, because it's not going to change. Working on something over and over again because you believe in it is great. Getting to the point where you got to love yourself to keep your integrity of who you are, and it can't be maintained, and it's being diminished in a relationship. You have to make those changes, or you're going to be miserable. And chances are you're going to make your partner miserable as well, because you're not having an honest relationship with each other. Even in polyamorous groupings, there are things that you can do that are cheating on each other. Not telling the truth, not being honest with who you are and your feelings and what's going on, and the changes. Realizing that you're out just playing and not being polyamorous. You're just being a promiscuous horn dog. That's a different type of relationship. People who expect some emotional and romantic commitment, they deserve romantic and emotional commitment. Cheating can be defined in many different ways, and so much of who and what people are is a completely a misunderstanding of themselves and each other. You have to work that out. But forgiving yourself from being, forgiving others so you can let go of those who have abused you? No. No, there is no forgiveness. So there's remorse, restitution, and a period of work and reconciliation to develop this trust. People have to change. If they don't change, be honest with yourself, they're not going to change. You may have to be civil to them. It's not pleasant. It's social contracts. Don't let people use social contracts against you. You can break them if they don't act properly. My mother trying to manipulate my children. No, I was able to make her stop. She's trying to manipulate me and use me to abuse my brothers. No, that's not going to happen. You can stop talking like that. You know, and she starts crying. I says, don't even start that because I'll walk right out. I will not be manipulated like that. I've done that to my own mother. Yes, indeed. So, like, we're going to get along like that or not? I've had in-laws that demand that I take my children, get them baptized, and take them to church. No. Pagan. They try to use their own pantyhose prayer in my own home. No. I made one that fits better and used it and shut that up. Does it take some starch in your spine to stand up to people, especially if they're family and they care about you in their own way, and in other ways you care about them, but you have to maintain your own integrity by setting up boundaries, healthy expectations. So that's what you do. I hope this discussion, this monologue about forgiveness makes sense to you. That forgiveness requires work, not only of the people that have wronged you, but yourself on making sure it never happens again. Remorse, restitution, before there's reconciliation, and that is a process to develop trust again. Sometimes people don't deserve it. And that's you being honest with yourself and who they are. That's okay. You can forgive yourself for breaking away from social contracts that are designed to abuse you, manipulate you, to maintain a status quo that is socially acceptable, or people use that against you. Don't let it. Am I old, cynical, and hard? That's right, I am. Do I want to be a protector of me, my family, my tribe, my household? I am. Am I protecting myself because I see all this abuse? Am I a little bit hyper-vigilant about it? Am I a little counter-dependent about it? Absolutely. But I don't have people abusing my family, my friends, my tribe. And I'll cut it short real quick. I'll set those boundaries. I'll tell people to stand off, back off, or we generate distance from people, social situations that are not healthy for us, that are toxic for us and toxic for others. And it's good policy not to speak ill of people or what have you. You have to warn people. At least give them enough information so that they can make their own judgment themselves. Some people don't have good judgments. Some people fall into traps of being sycophants to narcissistic sociopaths, or people that have personality disorders because they're extremely neurotic, like my mother. We have to do what is good for us and others, and we have to break the cycle. That's how you can forgive yourself. Break the cycle. Is that letting go and forgiving other people? No. Letting go of people and your relationships and your behaviors with them is a work of restitution you yourself have to make so that you become free from those who've abused you, even if they are near you and you have to deal with them every other day or in family circumstances or at work. You have to see them for what they are and treat them accordingly. But that's just a matter of honesty. And what you've hoped for and dreamed for in that relationship is gone. Grieve. Let it go. Do not be morose and hold on to it. Remorse. And letting it go will save you and help extract yourself from that relationship and that situation, because you are making the changes that are necessary to make your life healthy, not bound in a consistent toxic relationship, a cycle of behavior that suits not you, them, or anyone else. Love is the way to do it. Complete honesty. See things for exactly what they are. Know that you may not be able to change them. That's okay. Love yourself and others to act appropriately. Don't fall for the lies. And when you do that, you've forgiven yourself. You have done the restitution. You have done the work to reconcile your behaviors with who you are and your past. You forgive yourself, not others. You can forgive others if you've made a mistaken apprehension of who they are, what they are, and not seeing them for who they are, or you have a misunderstanding. It's because you come to a mutual agreement, an understanding. It's because there's love and knowledge and having an honest relationship with each other. You're doing a restitution and reconciliation because you realize this is not a matter of fault. It's a matter of misunderstanding. There, forgiveness is easy. If you can have the empathy to see things from another person's point of view, not being gaslit by a narcissistic sociopath, it's a difference. As long as that person's being honest about their behavior. If they're not, let them go. You've had a misunderstanding, forgive yourself. I hope this makes sense. Feel free to subscribe. People Embracing Change. Also to This Is Your Will under Archonstone. But this is purely a homily. This is not a magical discussion I normally have, or this is your will. But this is about your will. This is about your understanding of your relationship with others. I'll talk about managing and understanding emotions on another episode, and seeing what is positive and negative, and how it relates to the axiom of life, love, and truth and harmony. developing integrity. But that's for another day. Thank you for listening, and stay tuned for other homilies. Hopefully there will be more positive and other magical and spiritual development ideas on This Is Your Will. Until then, be good to yourself. Mind, body, and emotion in balance creates spirit. Life, love, and truth in harmony makes integrity. Spirit and integrity creates soul. That is to say, live absolutely honestly with absolutely everything. Be good at it, or be entertaining. 2 is sublime, 3 is divine.